Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this one I am going to tell you why I haven't spoken to my genitor in 3 years. I want to begin this video by saying, for anyone who is going to be wondering what is the purpose of a video like this, why are you putting your family's business in the internet? Listen, baby, I am doing this because representation and mirroring matter. As a child, I was going through bullying, colorism, featureism, textualism, and sexual molestation in the home. And in the midst of all of those hardship, I think that the hardest thing for me was still feeling like, I was all alone, feeling like no one else in the world was going through what I was going through. At the time, my English wasn't nearly as fluent as it is today, so even though YouTube existed, I didn't know of channels like Crazy, which didn't even exist at the time, but I'm sure at the time it was possible, probably most likely, to find. Not actually, more around 2008. I think most content creators started around 2008. So at the time that I was really going through all of that, actually there was no content in YouTube about that, but probably around 08 I could have found some healing content, some content about people who say they've been through the same thing. Because I think that the saying misery loves company is true, in the sense of not in a mean sense, or in the sense of haha you're going through that too, no, in the sense of like, I am not, something is not inherently wrong with me. I am not the only person in the world who have to battle this, and I think that is really important, and that is the reason why I'm making this video. So why haven't I spoken with my dad in 3 years? I think that this would have to go back to early infancy, where my dad was emotionally, he's always been emotionally absent. At this point he's more of a sperm donor than a dad, really. He was in the home, but he was not really in the home. He was very angry. He was always upset. I don't know, perhaps he's going through some anger, personality disorder or whatever it is, but he was always quite upset. So he was not someone that you could talk to. He could express one emotion, and one emotion only, and that emotion was anger. He would never give any words of affirmations or encouragement. Like if I did poorly in school, he always made sure to hit me. He was physically very violent, very aggressive, very violent physically. And but if I did have good grades, and I did have good grades in French and geography, and every subject that was quite literal, he would never he would never say good job. And I understand punishing is going to be very relative, because I don't understand why black people use still the method that oppressor, according to them, used to discipline the slaves in order to discipline their kids. But I guess I am a mom myself, and sometimes I do reprimand my daughter, obviously not physically, but I understand that sometimes children are going to have to do stuff where we have to, take some measures. However, I think that if you can express, the fact that you're not happy with whatever it is your child is doing, when they do something positive, I feel you should also, do the same. But obviously that was not the case here. I mean, I think I can say that, my family and my dad in general, like, my dad and my family in general were my first bullies. And fun fact is, if I was to show you a picture of my dad, which I won't, because his image is his, we are a spit copy of one another. We look alike, like as if we were twins. Like, it's ridiculous. He could not claim not being my father, even if he wanted to. And yet he bullied me about being just as dark skinned as he is, about having the very nose that he had. He bullied me so much so that as an adult I've had to have a nose job. I'm not saying that all of it is on him, but just I've had that operation as well, because I hated having to see his reflection in the mirror. So, and as a grown-up, my parents, luckily for me, really, I think this goes to show how the situation was in the home. Like, I felt relief as my parents announced to my sister and I that they were getting a divorce. I was like, thank God. So obviously I stayed with my mom. My sister and I, we did stay with her. I think I would say I was 8 at the time. The first time, because then they got back together and they got re-divorced when I was 12 or something like that. I'm not very sure about the numbers, and my therapist said that it's normal for trauma survivors not to remember every detail. So, you know, I was happy, you know, he left, and my sister and I would stay with my mom, which was okay. You know, I did see him from time to time, on weekends and stuff like that, you know, and it was nothing special, you know. And it's also the reason why I cut him off, right? The conversations that I had with my dad when I was 11 years old, visiting him at, you know, during weekends, are the same conversations that I had with him when I went, you know, back to Senegal for holidays. You know, I tried to go back once or twice a year. And, you know, as I went to visit him, it was the same conversation. How are you? Fine. How is life? Fine. How's your daughter? Fine. How is work? Fine. Okay. And then there was, you know, there was nothing left to say really, because what do you say to someone that you do not know? You know, like, right? So, you know, I have decided then that I just don't see the point in it anymore. That next time that I would go on holiday in Dakar, Senegal, I would simply not visit him. I just didn't see the point, because at the end of the day, I don't even know this man. Like, I don't feel like I could tell you, you know, real things about him. I don't know much about him. I don't really know this person. Like I said, he's more of a sperm donor than a dad, and at this point I've just accepted that, you know. I've just accepted, you know, the fact that I am never going to be, you know, to have a relationship with my father like a lot of people do, and that is okay for me. I have made, you know, you know how when someone dies they do the funerals, you know, I have made the funerals of that. It is something that I've accepted. So I also want to use this in order to give some tips to women or men, you know, people who didn't have their dads in their life. Whether, you know, it doesn't have to be like my dad, someone who is just emotionally unavailable. It could be, you know, that your dad is in and out of jail. It could be that your dad is addicted to crack or heroin or alcohol. Whatever it is your story is, perhaps he passed sadly and you didn't get to know him. Whatever it is, you know, that caused your father wound, I want you to understand that your dad inability to love you, his incapacity to, you know, show you the love and care that we all deserve is not something, it's not the proof, rather, sorry, that something is inherently wrong with you. I know that, for example, I have 7 siblings, okay? So my dad is not only the way he is with me, he's the way he is with all of my siblings, okay? So this is not his behavior. I will not internalize as, you know, a value of my worth, because it's simply not. So do not do that. Now, I can also recommend here an exercise that helped me tremendously, and that is writing letters. Obviously, I haven't given my dad any of these letters. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it. I mean, when I turn, you know, 2 years from now, I'm planning on having a conversation with him, but I'll get into that in another video if you guys are interested. But my point is, if you have, you know, if your dad is deceased, for example, sorry about that, you guys, or he's in jail, or, you know, you don't have the capacity to talk to him because, you know, he's a narcissist like mine and he's gonna gaslight you anyways, you know, get in the habit of writing him letters about what it is you feel, you know, whatever it is you feel. And, you know, you, like I said, you could then burn the letters, you can cut them, you don't have to give them. You could also post it and give them if you want to, but for me, I don't find that that has been necessary for my own healing. Just being able to externalize whatever it is I feel on paper and then just get rid of it has been enough for me to get whatever it is I'm feeling out of my chest. I can also recommend staying out of IG like on days like the Father Day or something, because that can be something that is very, or can be very triggering. I know that for me it's very triggering to go on Instagram on Father's Days and find all these people who, you know, are professing their love for their dads and how, you know, he's their everything and their rock and yada 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 and blah 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 blah. So, you know, avoid, you know, triggers, social medias on days like that. I want to end this video by saying that if you are a member of my family who is seeing this video and is planning on calling me and, you know, letting me know why am I putting my business on the internet and you want me to put this video down, let me tell you something. Find a quarter and call someone who cares, because I do not, okay? You guys, if you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for watching, okay? I appreciate you enormously, tremendously, okay? Do not forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys as per usual tomorrow in the next one. Bye guys. Mwah.